Well, from Nordic walking in England to bungee jumping in Aotearoa, our next guests are on an epic adventure.
Que tal se você chamasse a sua família?
50 viikon aikana 50.
Since October, health and fitness personalities Paul and Jacqui Brown, along with their 9-year-old son Ben, have been traveling around the world promoting sports and healthy lifestyles.
Well, first of all, what is behind this whole challenge? What are you doing it for?
Well, Carl, it's pretty simple. Jacqui and I have been in the health club industry all of our lives. You know, we love fitness, we love exercise, and we love sports. And over the last 30 or so years, we've seen a massive decline in activity levels in our kids. You've only got to look around and see how much time they spend playing on their computer screens, watching videos and the like. And there's a lack of balance there. Obesity has doubled in the last 10 years. It is going to double again in the next 7. And everywhere we go, we're going to visit schools and talk to kids and basically say, look, just find something, get some type of activity in your lives. We figured if we could prove to the world that we can find 50 different sports to do in 50 weeks, then surely every family out there can find at least one sport that they could do on a regular basis.
Why is there like 10 water bottles around here? Drink them all on the way.
Hi-ho, it's off to swim we go.
Well, that's a problem because everything.
Welcome to Flight 453 to Yoronga Swimming Pool. Please fasten your seatbelts, ensure your tray tables are stored in an upright position, turning off all electronic equipment except for DSLR cameras. So we are off today to Yoronga Pool to do some swimming with the champion of butterfly and freestyle, Susie O'Neill. GoPro is not here.
Yeah, when I was growing up in primary school, there'd be a summer season and we'd have to catch the bus to the swimming pool, and it took about an hour's ride on the bus. But I did not enjoy swimming at all. I was afraid to put my face in the water. Yeah, I would pretend that I was sick. I would forget my swimmers. I would do anything to avoid it. Yeah. And why I didn't like water on my face was because as a kid we only could use the bath. We never were under the shower. We never had a shower. It was always a bath, always.
So you never had water?
I was not used to water being in my face unless I did it purposefully. But with Ben, he would sit at the bottom of the shower while I was showering and he'd just play while the water's all over him. So yeah, he got very familiar with that. And it wasn't until years later that, that I realised, well, there's nothing really bad about the water. It's just...
What about now?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I just taught myself to swim.
Yeah. I laugh a lot about me not being a swimmer. I always take the mickey out of it. The reality is I can swim, and if I have to swim, I'm out in my boat all the time. But it's not my natural thing. I have to work a lot harder at it. When I'm in my pool doing laps, I know I'm having a great workout. It's brilliant for my muscles. It's brilliant for my cardio system. Burns a ton of energy. It's non-impact, so it doesn't do any damage to the body whatsoever. And as long as you don't overdo it by swimming kilometre after kilometre, you're not going to suffer any overuse injury. So there's a lot of reasons swimming ticks the box as a great way to keep healthy and fit. But probably my biggest trouble, mate, is I don't float very well. I actually have a world record in sinking. So, if you want to see me keep on the surface, I'm working hard to do so. And there'll be other people who can really relate to that. And there are others who are laughing right now saying, oh, don't be silly. It's an art form you can learn. And they're probably right. But again, 50 Sports is all about not preaching to people what they have to like. It's recognizing that everyone has their own preferences, their own abilities, and just because you don't like one sport, that's not permission to opt out of everything. Just try something else until you hit the spot and you go, wow, that is my thing. And then stick with it. Now you've got a health and fitness recipe you can live with.
Ready?
Susie O'Neill, thank you so much for spending time with us. We're just a typical Aussie family trying to keep our little boy active. We thought we'd try swimming out. It's not something that comes natural to Jacqui and I.
Really?
But we're really keen to find out how swimming fits into your life. How did you get started first? Let's talk about you, your origins.
It's hard to remember so long ago, but I think my mum wanted us kids to be water safe, so she got us lessons, I remember, because we used to go to the beach a lot. And then I had a teacher at primary school, I remember Mrs. Brett, and she really got me into doing the zones and districts, all those competitions, and I remember I really enjoyed doing that.
If you took the competitiveness out of it, what are some of the other appeals of swimming?
Probably the social side of it. The friends I made, I'm still friends with now. I still swim with one of the girls I met when I was 9 in our squad. Just the fun we had together as a group of kids.
And now you're raising your own kids. You got little Bill and Alex.
Yeah.
They're good swimmers too, I believe.
Well, they can float really well, but for their age group at school, they're actually not really one of the best swimmers. I'm trying to keep it fun, so I want them to do a certain amount of swimming. So they have to go twice a week at the moment. They're 8 and 10. But if they want to go more than that, that's up to them.
Okay.
So I want it to be self-driven. I don't want to make them do swimming and then hate it, which is what happens to most kids these days in swimming, unfortunately.
If your kids didn't do swimming, they decided they just wanted to sit around and watch TV all day and play the Xbox, would that fly with Susie O'Neill?
No.
No?
I think it should be compulsory, a certain amount of activity for your kids. And for me, I'm really strong on swimming because, not only because I did it, but I think because we live in Australia and we're surrounded by water, that's so important that we can all swim. And then obviously they just have to keep active because they're unmanageable if they're not active children.
How do you mean unmanageable?
They are really naughty, rude, lazy, they don't do their schoolwork, they're just obnoxious, basically. And I think that's probably how my mum was her theory with us kids growing up. Like we were very busy very early doing doing a lot of swimming, and I played a lot of tennis as well, and netball and running at school, and she just kept us really, really busy.
You've hit on something that is so vital, and it's a message we're trying to get out there, is that most behavioural problems can be fixed by changing the physical state of that person. If you've got pent-up energy, if you're frustrated, exercise is one of the great solutions. We use exercise with Ben, not as punishment, but certainly if we've got a behaviour issue with him, we don't just sit around and talk about it. We don't just make the naughty corner the solution. We make him active. We literally blow it out of his system. And if he's done a workout or we've done a warm-out on the trampoline, what do you do for warm-ups when he does his schoolwork?
Yeah, sometimes we play soccer just for 5 or 10 minutes, and then trampoline, handball. Yeah. Sometimes we'll do push-ups and handstands and lots of fun activities like that.
It seems so obvious to active people, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, even growing up, I had really awesome teachers and they all did the same thing. Yeah. We started with how many laps we could do around the oval in 10 minutes and always getting us running around, but no one does that anymore, do they?
I think what it is inactive people or people who don't naturally enjoy activity don't understand that missing out on that is getting in the way of the things they do enjoy. If they're really passionate about academia, if they're really passionate about certain pursuits that don't involve physical exercise, they don't realise that physical exercise actually complements what they're trying to achieve. They think it might be a waste of time when in fact it would be a real a boost, an upgrade to what they're getting on about. Just like we can't live on sports alone. We need good schooling. He needs to know his mathematics and English and history and all those other things. Yeah. You don't forego one for the other. You've got to have that balance.
But because we're active species, aren't we? Exactly. We're meant to be active.
Yeah.
But we're so sedentary.
Yep.
Welcome back. This is it. The women's 200-metre butterfly final. Listen to that. Capacity crowd. 200 final away.